2K Sports pregame show.
Hello and welcome. Glad you could join us here on 2K Sports. I'm your host, Ernie Johnson. Next to me, Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Tonight's broadcast will feature the Miami Heat as they go up against the Minnesota Timberwolves at Target Center. For the Timberwolves, they haven't competed at the level they'd like over the last week or so. Just one win in 5 games. It's been said that Karl Anthony Towns is the prototypical modern big man in the league. There's no doubt that he's a star with all the potential in the world, but would you guys agree he represents the future of that position?
You know, I like him, one, because he's from Jersey. Then he can play inside and outside. He's lengthy and strong, but he's very mobile, agile, and fruitile.
His skill set is coveted by every player.
Fruitile?
Oh, no question.
I got that
What's fruitile?
I got it from Dick Vitale. I don't know.
Fruitile?
I heard Dick Vitale say it.
What does fruitile mean?
Fruitile is like it's fruitful, but it's got a lot of tile to it.
But it's futile as well. It's a futile fruit.
Got a lot of tile to it.
It's got a lot of tile to it.
Fruitile.
That means he can lay it down. He's got a lot of tile to his fruit.
That's right, Ernie. He can lay his game down.
He can lay it down.
And his game is sweet like fruit.
I'm so out of step.
Yeah, you're not a
almost
millennial.
time for the tip-off. See you next time.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Our national anthem performer, Linda Lind, and we're getting ready to go. It's the NBA here on 2K Sports. With Greg Anthony, Brent Barry, and our sideline reporter, David Aldridge, Kevin Harlan. It's a special night because we're sitting alongside former NBA champion, MVP Kevin Garnett. We're so excited to have you here.
How you doing, Kev,
I'm
man?
doing great. Now that you're here, this is terrific.
Man, it's good to see you, man.
For the Miami Heat, they are coming off a good outing against the Celtics. And I don't think I was the only one surprised, not just by their win, but, guys, by what an emphatic win it was.
And you know what? Up against a weak defense, they were allowed to do pretty much whatever they wanted.
Yeah, what I like, though, besides that, is that they just didn't settle for it, because weak defenses, you could take bad shots. That's not what they did here tonight.
And we've got time for a quick pregame report. With that being said, let's head to the sideline and our Hall of Famer, David Aldridge. D.A.?
Thank you, Kevin. Now, Jimmy Butler survived a tough upbringing in Tomball, Texas. He said, that's all anybody ever wanted to talk about. But I don't want that to define me. If I'm stuck in the past, then I won't get any better. I won't change. I'll get stuck as that kid. That's not who I am. I'm a great basketball player because of my work. Guys?
Thanks, David. You can tell Butler has a good head on his shoulders, an elite talent in this league because of the hard work he puts in. And people may not know, KG, that you're not just a broadcaster for 2K, but you're a member of the 2K community.
Have you been keeping up with the community, man?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Man, listen,
very much so.
Shout out to all the 2K players out there. I'm Jizzle Lord. Y'all know what it is. I'm Jizzle Lord 5. Shout out to my OBF team. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to Dex. Shout out to Bug. Shout out to everybody out there playing.
Wow.
Right. We definitely.
Wow.
It's all good. You know, I'm OBF. I'm about the team. I'm gang. You know what it is. Jizzle Lord. Y'all holler at me. Y'all know what it is, 2K. Right.
So the opening lineup for the Heat, Dragic and Waiters, they're the backcourt. Olynyk down low with Whiteside. And it's Richardson in at the 3 slot. And Kevin, your last couple years, you got to mentor some young players. Karl Anthony Towns comes to mind. How good do you think he can be?
Man, Cat is the next.
That's the kind of work you want your point guard to do. Sensational ball movement by Jeff Teague there to set up his man.
Hey, Kevin, when you play with Andrew Wiggins, you saw firsthand just how explosive he can be. What impresses you most about where he is right now and where he could go?
Man, Andrew's potential is through the roof. I've told him this countless times that when he wants to, he can. There's nothing that he can't do. It's just about his consistency and how he sees that. Man, I told him, man, the world is his. I've yet to see a player in our league that has the athletic ability that he has, mixed with the IQ and being able to be players on both sides of the ball if he wants to. This kid is super long. He's fast. He's deceptionally fast. Like, I don't think people know how fast he really is. Great shooter, has a great IQ, not a good IQ, a great IQ. I told him, man, you know, I would like to see him with a little more oomph in his step. But if you know Drew, he's laid back. He's super cool. He's smooth with it, and his game reminds you of Steve Smith and when Smitty used to, you know, rock people to sleep. He has a very good patience to his game.
Richardson with a screen for Whiteside. And again, it's Goran Dragic. Dragic has got his second bucket of the night.
And early on, they look great. They've made all 4 of their shots to start this game.
And Kevin, do you think you gravitate towards those young players because you were in their shoes at one time as a very, very young player in this league?
A little bit, but more importantly, I see it. I see it in him. I see that if he pushed through a little bit, and
you know it, you spot it.
Absolutely, because you know what you see in young talent, you see it when it's there. When it's right in your face, like, holy, here, go get a rebound, put it back, dunk the ball, steal it, dunk it, come back down, and then be like, huh? You know, I often wonder how much Drew is actually stimulated. You know, he gets bored very easily, but when he turns it on, he is one of the best, and is going to be one of the best in our league to come.
Back to Teague. The Timberwolves working the ball around now. Butler goes in. Excellent D there from Waiters.
Like the tactics on defense there, refusing to give the shooter the easy layup at the rim.
Pass to Dragic. Richardson with it. He had a 12-point outing in their last game against Boston. 5 on the clock. The putback rebounded by the Timberwolves. The Heat beat them last time when these two teams met down in South Florida.
And that was an ugly loss for them last time playing these guys. And really, the rebounding differential was the key.
Yeah, it was very poor, their performance on the glass. And it wasn't the only reason they got blown out as badly as they did, but it was the biggest reason.
And they've scored several times already here in the first quarter on the inside.
Right side a screen. Olynyk a screen on Teague. Dragic kicks to Olynyk. There's the dish to Dragic. Screen by Olynyk. Shoots off the screen, off the left rim and out.
The shot's there for him, and he's got to take it. I don't care if he doesn't convert. That's a shot he has to continue to take.
Butler against Waiters. Now the pass to Dragic. And Olynyk kicks to Whiteside. That one goes. Count it. Whiteside's got 6 points. Kevin, especially back in Minnesota, you have some Hall of Fame battles with a guy named Tim Duncan. Talk about what those games, what those matchups were like.
Tim is very crafty, man. Our battles used to just, especially as young guys, man. Young guys trying to establish themselves in a gritty league at the time, full of some older, dominant names at the time. Michael Jordan, Elijah Malone. You know, the time where the forward position was a very, very tough position. But Timmy was one of them ones, man. Used angles very well, was very long, had a lot of counters, very strong, and had an inner beast that people really didn't really talk about because you didn't really necessarily hear or see it. But man, Timmy's one of the best, man. It's not by coincidence. He's one of them ones.
Mind the lanes. Mind the lanes. One shot.
On the free throw, no good.
Nice stroke from the line by Whiteside. You know, he's only going to get better from there with some practice.
Kevin, of all the people you've faced, who is the toughest guy for you to score against down low? Let's pick that geography. Who is the toughest to score against down there?
Listen, I know a lot of people. I've always said Rasheed Wallace. I've always said Tim Duncan. They're probably the two that brought a different level of play out of me. But Shout to Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson, I don't know if people know this, but Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson was one of the better defenders in the post. He was very strong. He was very long. He didn't go for any counters. He was very disciplined. He was well prepared because he was a veteran. The refs let him get away with a lot, touching and grabbing. He knew when to be physical in some positions. He knew to do what we call work early. He would meet you at the three-point line, and he would be fighting you, and you would post up probably like a step outside the three-point line. Like, he was really good at some of his techniques and how he was able to control the post. After Cliff left the game, I watched a lot of his tape, and I took a lot of his I had to, because it was so effective against me that I was able to use it against other post players on the defensive end.
I never knew that story.
Dennis Rodman was another guy I watched a lot. Akeem Olajuwon I watched a lot, because these guys were laterally very similar to my makeup. Akeem Olajuwon was long. He was able to laterally move with you. I was laterally able to move with guards, and able to laterally to slide with some of the forwards and some of the more laterally gifted power forwards. And with that, able to get my feet together, being able to block shots, challenge the rim, stuff like that. Things that, if you're going to get better at something, you got to go and reach and find the great ones that did it before you and take it, and then I was able to apply it, and I did those things.
Olynyk has the open look. Again, the miss by the Heat. Timberwolves trail by 4. And Kev, you think of the great ones. You, Kobe, Jordan, Timmy. Yeah, how about him? They worked harder than anybody else, Kevin.
And what you learn is that the similarity or the parallel that you all have is our inner animal that you never speak about. You know, we're all a little off. We're all a little dark, but that's what pushes you through pain. That's what pushes you through tough moments. When someone says you can't, when someone says this is not possible, this is unreal, no one has ever done it, that's the moment you're looking for. The moment someone told Kobe that he couldn't get over 50, 60, something Jordan couldn't do, he was driven in that. And if Phil wouldn't have stopped him, he probably would have reached 100 points.
He probably would have, yeah.
You know, he did Will Chamberlain a favor. And that's just real. He was in that type of mode. We all share that passion. We all share that drive. And the ones that have that inner darkness, we all understand.
It's like a split personality, huh?
It's almost like another level.
Yeah. They recover it. That one touched the backboard first, and it's ruled a goaltend. Count it.
So close to getting the block there. You can live with those calls because you'd rather have a guy playing aggressive instead of playing it safe.
And KG, you're retired from the game now, and you're stepping into the broadcast business a little bit now, aren't you?
Man, you see me?
How do you like it?
You know what? Area 21 is something that is authentic. It's me. I'm having a great time watching the games. It's really cool being a fan now. I can root for people I want to root for. I don't have to worry about preparing and who I'm a guard, and I'm getting the tea. So you know what? It's a great time. It's work. You know, it's not just you go on there and you have a bunch of fun. You know, we actually get some things done, and but we have a great time, man.
You're a natural.
Hey, Kev, listen, watching you, being around you, you know, man, the great, rest in peace to Craig, you know, Ernie, Charles, all these great influences, man, has definitely helped. Not just me, but our younger generations of broadcasters, man. It's totally, I didn't see this being my lane, but I'm having fun with it.
Doing a great job. Well, Heat leading by 4. Johnson, the pass to Adebayo. Here's Magruder, looking for his first basket still in this one. There's a good screen. Johnson, that's for 2. And he didn't get quite enough under that one.
Just doing the job on the backboard.
Here's Jones. And he lays it straight in. And now just a 2-point Miami lead.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Johnson, the pass to Adebayo. Here's Magruder. Some nice ball movement here by the Heat. Pass to Johnson. Over Jones. Johnson gets the bucket. Johnson's got his second basket of the night.
Johnson timing that catch and shoot perfectly. He gave the D no chance to get to him.
Jones dishes to Gibson. It's Crawford with the drive. Patton the pass to Muhammad. He kicks to Gibson. From 8. Tried to bank it in, but he misses. Miami leading by 4. And it's Magruder in the corner. A three-pointer, no good. The Timberwolves shooting 47% here so far. Down low from 6 feet. Here's Muhammad. Terrific assist, a nice finish. Solid play all around.
And he can time his passes so perfectly. Wow, what an assist.
Passes it to Adebayo. Now Winslow. 11-point game his last outing. Johnson with a screen on Crawford. Lets it go with a 3. And it's Justice Winslow with the foul. That's his first foul. .151 left in the first quarter of the game. Jones against Johnson. Jones kicks to Gibson. It's Crawford on the wing. That doesn't go on the chance to tie. Miami's gone 0-3 from three-point land. Nothing yet going outside. Johnson, the pass to Magruder. And there's the feed to Johnson. Johnson dishes to Winslow. No good on the triple. Timberwolves trail. Kicks it to Crawford. And that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Crawford. And where the shots been coming from tonight? Here's a look broken down by paint, mid-range, and three-point shot attempts so far for Miami.
And guys, this season they've really gotten away from that mid-range shot. And I'm not saying that should be the main part of their offense, but it would make them much more dangerous offensively if they could get more scoring from that 10 to 20-foot range.
We've got 1:13 left to play here in the first. Johnson kicks to Johnson. Johnson with a screen on Crawford. Johnson, the pass to Johnson. Johnson outside. They set the pick. He dishes it to Winslow. Johnson the screen. There's the 3. Winslow's shot is off.
And the great shooters know when they've got enough opening to go for the 3. I didn't think it was a bad choice on that possession.
Jones dishes to Crawford. Crawford with another miss. The Heat with the lead. Here's Johnson. The shot goes in. First of the night. He's 1 for 3 to start the game. The Timberwolves shooting 45% from the field early. It's a 4-second differential between the shot clock and game clock. Screen by Jones. Crawford kicks to Muhammad. No good on the 3. In transition, here comes Miami. Here's Magruder, and he makes the bucket, drew contact, and gets the whistle, too.
And at full speed, he still has the wherewithal to get himself in good position.
Yeah, the snap decisions right there, reading the situation on the move and then making the right choice.
And he's got his first chance at the line here.
Numbers this year at the line below 70, so when he's getting to the line, not nearly as effective as you'd like.
One shot.
On the free throw, no good. Stolen by Winslow. And so it's Miami with their lead standing at 6 points here at the end of the quarter. They're pounding the ball inside, and that's where they've gotten their best production tonight. We'll get right back to the action when we return. And a guy who seems to improve every season, Jimmy Butler. He spoke with us about one of his biggest surprises.
It's crazy because I never thought that anybody would be preparing to guard me night in and night out. But they do. I have to learn to cope with that and still find a way to be successful on both ends of the floor. And it's a learning curve for me also, but I'm figuring it out.
And hard to doubt the dedication of Jimmy Butler. He's found a way to overcome obstacles at each important point along the way.
You know, he's a self-made player, and if Butler can stay healthy boy, the sky's the limit.
Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And before we move on, what do you guys think about what we've seen so far from the Heat?
I tell you what, that first quarter, you can see the game plan is a commitment to offensive rebounding.
Well, their efforts have been rewarded here after one. Winning the battle over second chance points has them ahead on the scoreboard.
And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's the second quarter of play. And so in the game for the Timberwolves, Shabazz Muhammad is out there with Taj Gibson. Then it's Crawford. Then it's Jones. And it's Patton in at the center, locking down the middle. And that one falls for Muhammad. Kevin, you were so successful jumping from high school to pros. What do you think about the current situation now, the age of 19, the minimum to go to the draft?
You know, I'm always be a fan of the younger kids being able to have the opportunity. I don't like when you put parameters. I could see if college was really teaching these kids and really giving them a solid situation to be able to have something to defer to. But, you know, these kids are not learning at the rate that you would like them to learn in college. And plus, they're not staying in college to these great institutions to be able to apply some of the things they're learning. So I just think that they need...
They're basketball players.
They're basketball players, but they should have the opportunity to take advantage of if you're able to play at 17, 18 like I was. Not saying that every kid's going to have that, but you have obviously the D-League. You have all these multiple leagues throughout the world and where kids go to play. You know, some kids have missed out just because of that 1 year and some mishaps. And you sit here and you can say, you know, for business is good for this. Listen, the business is what it's going to be. We need to develop and have these kids be professionals more than anything. We need to grow these kids from a skill level and an appetite level. Our game was built off for one to be better than the ones that's come before us. You know what I'm saying? When Lou Alcindor came in here, he was, a.k.a. obviously Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was more encouraged to beat out Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell more than anything. And then that starts to trickle down from the effect of from Jordan wanting to be better than Larry Bird and Magic to Cole wanting to be better than, you know, it's the same thing. It's being trickled down. And when I think of greatness, I think, you know, it's going to follow. It's going to be shadows, and at some point it's going to mimic.
Gibson fighting through the contact and not taking no for an answer. Love that concentration.
Kevin, over the years, we've seen a number of super teams develop, and in the Warriors' case, it's not the big three, it's the big four. Is this a trend you see continuing? You did it in Boston.
Man, look,
you were the original big three.
It seems like it, eh?
Yeah,
know, right.
You were the original big three.
You know what? It's like an innovative type of thing, right? I didn't even know that we were doing that. Right, because LeBron come back and do what? LeBron goes to
Miami. He's
Miami
the big
after
three
that,
right down there. Yeah.
And then what? Then it just starts morphing into these different things, right?
KD to Golden State.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What do you think of that?
I think this is pretty much the norm. You know what? Listen, I think KD took a lot of heat for it, but when you really think about what he's doing, is that, let's say 20 years from now, when he sits back and he wants to talk to Steph, he wants to talk to Draymond, he's talking to Clay. These are all going to be three greats with him. I'm just talking about those three guys. He's playing with three other greats. I'm sorry. If you had a chance to play with three other greats in the prime, Kev, you're going to do that. And if you don't, then something's wrong with you.
And taking a look now at the stats for Johnson, how his last 10 games have gone. Averaging about 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. And guys, no question, he's a guy with some talent. But honestly, even he'd like to see those numbers improve.
From all the whispers that we've heard, he's been working hard on his game. It just has not showed up yet in the box score.
And that one misses. And Kevin, you look at the star players joining up today. At the end of the day, it's about winning.
The game is about winning. More importantly, it's about these bonds that you're able to establish. Those guys are going to be brothers forever. Now, I get the whole OKC, him leaving, right? But this is morphing into something else, and I think that this is going to be part of the norm.
Championships.
It is, man, and that's what you're in this for. You go to build these things. I don't know if I would have done it like that, but I understand it. I get it. He's playing with 3 other greats that's making the game more efficient for him, and it's working. But, yes, I see this being the norm in the league.
A slight advantage for them in the rebound department, but that oftentimes is all it takes.
Wiggins. Here's Towns. Battles through traffic and lays it in. Towns has got his first 2 points.
And from day one, Towns has been one of the NBA's top post players. A versatile, well-rounded game on the low block. It doesn't hurt that he can step outside and knock down the jumper either.
Yeah, it's a disappointing sequence of plays. Absolutely inexcusable turning the ball over like that.
Jang, he's checked in for Patton. And for those of you just joining us, we're in the second quarter with about 3 minutes gone by. T kicks to Butler. Kicks it out to Wiggins. Kept alive. Now on the play, basket counts, so it'll be a three-point play chance.
They are just killing them on the interior.
The Timberwolves shooting their 5th free throw of the game here. Kevin, we've all seen the evolution of the perimeter style offense. Do you think it'll ever go so far that we'll see the game come back to an inside oriented offensive scheme?
I think right now that with pace being the way it is now, Kev, I don't see it necessarily going through or going back to playing through the post. Although you have to have an alternative. I think that you just can't be all three-pointers and layups. I think you have to have a constant flow of inside-outside. I think it helps to have a post player. I think having a post player or a true post player that can score and dominate the middle opens up threes and opens up ball movement.
You played during the transition, too, didn't you? From a grinded-out type of game inside to the spacing that we have now.
I did, and I'd like to say that, you know, Doc Rivers started the small ball, and, you know, we were very, very keen on the small ball. So I think in today's game, you got to be able to shoot the three now and be able to handle the ball and put the ball on the floor and make decisions. So it shows that the game is transforming.
Well, when it comes to free throws, Dragic is just money from the line.
Kevin, with intentional fouling, with poor free throw shooters being sent to the line currently, the hack of Drummond, hack of Shaq, I mean, all this stuff, hack of DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on all that?
You know what? I like it. You know what it's going to do? It's
part of the strategy?
It's going to put the strategy, and this is part of it. And you know what you got to do? It's going to make all those guys you just named work on their free throw. Because if any advantage that you have in the game, coaches are going to expose it. Coaches are going to expose all weak points, as they should, as any sport, and as any great is going to expose any weaknesses in defenses. He's going to look to expose those things. So this is one of the things that dictates the game, and these guys are going to have to be better. It's going to push them. It's going to make them better players.
Back to Teague. Feeds to Wiggins. And it's Wiggins with the jam.
Oh, just solid on the one-handed slam.
And guys, when it's a tight ball game like this, he's the guy they want with the ball. Regular season grind, 82 games in the regular season. In your opinion, is that the right amount of games for teams to play, or would you like to see the schedule shortened where there's more practice in between, more days of rest, more days to recuperate?
Man, look.
You got a big smile on your face.
For the old school, Kev, you know, 82 games is how you got to come through it. This is, listen.
It's a war, isn't it?
Listen, it is. And you know what? This is the tradition of it, man. This is what it is, bro. If you don't want to go through this and go through this hall and this road of this journey, then cool. Go to another league. They got shorter games. They got other awards that you can, you know. This is the NBA. This is what it is. This is the grind of it. And ones that have come before you have done it, just like the ones that's after you is going to do it. This is what it is, bro.
Kevin, you accomplished everything individually as a teammate. Anything that you wish you would have done, any player that you wish you would have played with, any regret in that form that lingers with you in retirement?
No, nothing lingers. Obviously, you know, you sit back and think about, I would love to play with Cole for a year, or got to, team, at least play in the U.S.
You had a chance. Wasn't that like a rumor at one time?
It was. My connection with Paul was just the opportunity when I waited. It's what it was. But,
and you wouldn't have traded the Paul Pierce thing for anything?
No, I wouldn't have, because Paul and I are true brothers. The connection, and then the team, Ray, you know, my connection with Doe and then Doc and all of that. So I wouldn't have given that up for anything. But if I could have played with one person, probably would have been Cole. Summertime, I say USA because that's when you get to play with each other and all that, and you get to kind of beat up on everybody else and be USA or whatever. So that would have been super fun. But it's all good. Shout to Mama, you know what it is. But I have no regrets, man. I left everything on the floor. I enjoy watching the game more than ever now, dog. I'm not even going to front. I enjoy having my popcorn, my little ritual with my boys, and we sit back and we watch the game and loving the game.
Yeah. Kevin, some of the relatively new rules protecting players, the breakaway, the flagrant 1, the flagrant 2. Are you in favor of all this stuff?
I'm in favor for players' health. You know, anything that is going to be detrimental to a player's health, I feel like, you know, the player's health is the first and only obligation. That's all I've ever worried about. You know, foul play, you know, I think every player should always understand it's a way to foul. It's a way to be able to, you know, send a message. But in the heat of the moment, I get it. You know, things happen. I would just hope it.
I tell you what, Butler is a physical dunker. I mean, he takes his craft seriously. I just love watching this guy take off.
And that last replay, courtesy of Under Armour. Another unleashed chaos moment. Olynyk sets a screen for Dragic. Here's Whiteside, and off the left side of the rim, and it swirls in for him. Whiteside's got 14.
Some guys just take pride in how they set screens. It might seem like a small part of the game, but as you saw there, it can have a huge impact in getting a shooter an open look at the basket.
Here's Dragic. He's got 9. Waiters outside. Outside against Towns. Dragic left side. 6 to shoot. Olynyk a screen on Teague. Jumper off the screen. That shot no good. And it's the Timberwolves taking it the other way. Last game matched up with the Magic. A tough loss there.
And in part because I just thought they came out flat in that game and could never recover. Just not their best effort.
You could see the coach trying a few different rotations in that game, shaking things up, trying to get something going, but nothing was working.
And that's such solid, fundamental basketball on display right there, guys.
You talk about it all the time, Greg. Yeah, great use of the pick to set up the dunk.
Well, that's a play that only works by practicing over and over and having a great rhythm with your teammate. You could see the timing there.
Outside Butler. Back to Teague. Shoots over Dragic. Waiters grabs the miss.
And usually that mid-range jumper finds the bottom of the net. The defense has to be more aggressive moving forward.
Outside against Towns. Minnesota making a switch here. Jones is checked in. James Johnson's checked in for the Heat. Justice Winslow comes in for Richardson. Johnson with a screen on Jones. Outside a screen. Just 5 on the clock. Here's Dragic from outside. The second chance effort. Right side, no good. Minnesota leading by 4. Wiggins drives in, and Wiggins throws it down.
And there's one thing that's never been in question about Wiggins, his ability to be a high-volume scorer. And in case you needed a reminder, he's giving you one tonight.
Guys are looking for a spark here.
Yeah, a cold stretch offensively, for sure.
Okay, well, let's check in with David Aldridge, who's reporting from the sideline.
Well, guys, Miami's Eric Spoelstra is known for his focus and his devotion to work. How does he stay centered? Yoga. He said, I like it because you have to keep your eyes on your own mat. If you're not focused on the spot in front of you, you'll fall over. And Kevin, that mindfulness translates across the board.
Mindfulness. That's an interesting way to look at things, D.A. Spo is a great, great communicator. Knows how to certainly get through to his team. And the first one drops. Some changes for Minnesota. Taj Gibson's checked in for Karl Anthony Towns. Muhammad comes in for Wiggins. And it's Crawford in for Butler. Adebayo is checked in for Miami. Tyler Johnson comes in for Waiters. Both free throws good from Dragic.
Well, his body control is phenomenal, and his ability to get to the line has always been impressive. That's a huge part of his game.
Screen by Jones. And Zhang kicks to Gibson. Lets it fly from 18. Jones, no luck. The Heat trail by 4. And here's the fast break. Winslow's leading the way. Johnson gets the bucket.
Yeah, there's a good indicator of Winslow and his feel for the game. I like how much he makes a concentrated effort to get the ball right there to the open man.
Jones against Johnson. Jones, the pass to Gibson. Screen by Jones. Shots good by Gibson. Gibson's got his second bucket.
And this has been a great job of just getting into the middle of that defense and really scoring effectively from the paint.
Here's Johnson. A rebound by the Timberwolves. Zhang's got his 5th rebound in this one. Jones against Johnson. Here's Muhammad, and there's the whistle on the shot. Took the foul, shot misses. He'll be shooting 2. And the foul goes against Miami. For Minnesota, they have only 1 missed free throw. They've had 5 attempts and made 4 of them. That one is off.
And they're really getting more points at the free throw line here in the second quarter.
Patton, he's checked in for Minnesota. And Miami with a change here, too. Magruder's checked in. Good on the second free throw. 1:14 left in the first half. Adding a lot of flavor to the mix, Kevin Garnett. Kevin, thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Hope you join us again sometime.
Man, Kevin, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always great to see you, man. Anytime you need me, you holler at me, all right?
Future Hall of Famer and a terrific person, Kevin Garnett. And Brent, it's amazing that our introduction to KG was just this high school kid from Chicago, and before that, from South Carolina. So unrefined, undefined, and now, you know, he has just so much wisdom to impart. He's learned so much. It's wonderful to listen to.
Well, you think about Kevin Garnett, Kevin, and the fact that he played more than half of his life in the NBA. And for a guy like that to pick up some sort of knowledge, to carry it on and to pay it forward, that's the kind of loyalty and enthusiasm that Kevin Garnett always shows for the game of basketball.
Johnson with a screen on Crawford. Johnson the screen. Pass to Adebayo. There's a good screen. It's up a 3. The rebound by Patton. Patton's got 6 rebounds now in the game. Muhammad dishes to Crawford. And again, it's Minnesota.
And doing their best to maximize possessions, just staying focused with this lead.
Well, it isn't much, but they've been able to capture some of the momentum of this game and increase their advantage.
And so it's Andrew Wiggins making highlights for Minnesota. What a quarter that saw them generate a great comeback effort and are now out in front with momentum behind them. It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Here with Andrew Wiggins. Andrew, for you personally, a great first half. You really got to the rim a lot of times. What are you seeing out there?
Just a mindset to attack the rim early, you know, try to mark my presence.
We certainly saw you in the first half. Thanks. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks so much, David, and we'll step away briefly, but get you right back out here for the start of the third quarter after this break.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
We so hope you enjoyed our first half. Ernie Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny the Jet Smith. This is the halftime report. Andrew Wiggins led the way in the first half. He had 14 points, 4 assists, and 1 rebound. Some great work from him in the first 2 quarters. And Shaq, what do you think about what we saw from Minnesota?
Well, it was an unselfish, team-oriented half of basketball. The ball never stopped moving. Their offense had a great flow to it. It prevented anyone from getting lazy out there. They're always moving, cutting, knowing where they need to pass the ball, Ernie.
And Kenny, what are your thoughts on Miami?
Their inaccuracy from behind the arc was brutal. Shot selection, I didn't see any. The perimeter offense they're running, you could scrap that. They need to get back to the basics. Pound it inside, more pick and roll. Try to pick up some easy buckets in transition.
That's it for halftime, as the second half is just about to get underway.
And now the third quarter about to get going. You look at Andrew Wiggins in this game, he's been everywhere.
Yeah, and through 2 quarters, he's been lights out. And you know he's going to look to add to those totals.
And defensively, hard to force him out of the rhythm at this point because he has a number of ways with which he can beat you.
And the second half about to start here in just a few moments. And we have so many great spot-up shooters in this league, but from what you've seen, who are some of the best shooters off the dribble?
First guy I think about, Kevin, is Kevin. It's Durant, though, not you. I know you're a great shooter.
I was a good shooter.
But Kevin Durant's efficiency after transferring over from OKC to Golden State, it's really remarkable how much he's learned to play without the basketball, yet still having a career-efficient year. Him off the dribble is dangerous for anybody.
On the floor for Miami, Olynyk down low with Whiteside. Dragic and Waiters, they're the backcourt. And it's Richardson in at the 3 spot. Free throw good, Wiggins. And Greg, you wouldn't expect it from a Coach Thibodeau team, but defense was an issue for the Timberwolves last year.
And the Wolves brought in Butler to help with offense, but more importantly, his defense. And Butler, familiar with what Thibs likes to do on both ends of the floor, has the leadership the team needs, particularly on the defensive end.
And both free throws good for Wiggins.
And still varying opinions out there of what Andrew Wiggins can and can't do. But one thing that's indisputable, he's an incredible scorer. Whether half-court transition, he can flat out fill it up in a hurry.
And Josh enjoying this and one opportunity. Good job finishing despite the defense knocking him around a bit.
And Wiggins, his young career just getting better and better at scoring, Greg, while increasing his workload.
Yeah, and very few scorers can do that, especially from that 2-guard spot. Wiggins has that special talent where he can flat out carry an offense. Scary to think that this is a kid who is just scratching the surface.
And that one misses.
There's so much inside of Josh Richardson that is yet to be tapped into. An athletic shooting guard who can play both ends of the floor.
Butler in the corner. And that comes off the assist by Jeff Teague. 13 points for Butler.
Yeah, the onslaught continues. He's been unstoppable now for a couple of nights.
Well, a tip of the cap to the coaching staff here. They're recognizing how well he's playing, so the game plan has been built around him.
Here's Whiteside. Good for his 8th field goal. He's attempted a dozen shots.
Well, sending out the memo to the team, get Whiteside the rock. Everything he's touching right now is going in.
Teague kicks to Butler. Back to Teague. To the paint and stolen by Richardson. Here's Dragic. Rebound Minnesota. Jang's got his 6th rebound on the night. Here's Wiggins. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. They get Hassan Whiteside. The Timberwolves have gone 7 of 9 from the free throw line tonight.
And they've had really good numbers all season from the free throw line.
2 shots.
And the first one at the line is good. And both free throws good for Wiggins.
The Heat story last year was about some kind of rekindling. At the beginning of the year, really struggling. And then all of a sudden, they just burst into flames. They were right in the playoff hunt after the All-Star break. An incredible turnaround for Eric Spoelstra and his staff. Yeah, couldn't have asked for a better start to the second half, minus that one miss. 3 of 4 now from the field right now in the second half.
Teague, the pass to Wiggins. Towns, a screen on Dragic. Wiggins dishes to Towns. Such a wide open look. Towns has got the lead up to 12 now for Minnesota.
How many times have we seen a possession like that from them today? Ending with a basket, coming off a pretty pass.
Here's Waiters. Count it from 12. Waiters got his 3rd bucket of the night.
This is where Waiters can continue to improve his offensive game, draining the jumper with a hand in his face.
Jang, a screen. Dishes it to Wiggins. And it's Miami with the rebound. When this game is done, they'll be off to Chicago as they take on the Bulls. That'll be game 2 of 4 straight on the road.
And you know what? He's just not on his game, no doubt about it. Their deficit isn't totally on him, but he has not been an asset for his team.
Here's Waiters. Here's Richardson. And the lead is down inside single digits. Richardson's got his 2nd basket.
Love the fast hands of Richardson there. Always active on the defensive end, using his length and constantly prowling for steals.
Here's Wiggins. And that comes off the assist by Jeff Teague. And that's now 20 points for Andrew Wiggins.
And when they've gone to him, he has come through big time. You got to keep getting him touches.
Timeout called, the Heat.
Tough for Josh Richardson last year to get some consistent play due to injuries that just sort of took him off track. But it definitely slowed up what was looking like a very encouraging sophomore season. He still has a bright future ahead of him.
We take a second here to take a look at the shot chart for Minnesota.
And the three-point game stands out as a major sore spot. It just has not been falling for him. I think at this point you start to get away from that shot. Try to engage in other parts of the offense. You don't want to hurt your team if that long ball isn't there.
And despite the injury-riddled season last year, you can see what Richardson provides to a team when he is healthy and when he's ready to go. Solid wing play.
Well, they love Richardson coming out of college as a guy who could play flat-out defense on the wing, and then all of a sudden he stepped up in some big moments 2 years ago and started draining three-point shots. So they feel like they've got a perimeter player in Richardson that's going to make that kind of progression and have that kind of consistency for them in the next few years.
The Timberwolves shot 9 of 11 at the free throw line.
One shot, gentlemen.
Right, you've certainly been in the public eye for a while as a player, as a broadcaster, an actor in the Jerry Maguire movie. Is there anything else on...
So kind of you, Kevin, to bring that up.
I'm just reading the list here, Brent. Is there anything else on camera that you'd really like to do?
Oh, I was in a Coolio video. I don't know if you knew that, Kevin. Coolio made a music video, and I was asked to come down to the studio with the late Malik Sealy, and him and I actually were in the video for the movie's primetime song.
No kidding.
Yes.
about that? Have fun. And that one's good. Wiggins.
Well, Teague has his binoculars on, able to find his man for that open look.
The Heat trail by 11. Outside, Dragic. Whiteside kicks to Dragic. Back to Whiteside. Towns with the steal. Right side, Teague floats it up for Wiggins. Trying to go for an alley-oop, but excellent defense and anticipation there to stop it. Here's Waiters. Not enough on that one as it misses. Timberwolves leading by 11. Wiggins with it, and it's Waiters picking him up. The kick outside to Butler. And another three for Minnesota.
And good passing, setting up a lot of these buckets right now, Kevin. That's been the key.
Rockets the pass to Whiteside. Towns with the defensive effort. Minnesota's gone 2 of 2 from long range in the third quarter so far. Takes the three. Rockets with some nice D. The Heat trail by 14. High arcing shot. Jimmy Butler with the rebound.
This is a quarter that he would love to forget as soon as possible. Not getting anything to go.
Teague dishes to Butler. Wiggins against Richardson. Here's Butler. He feeds it to Jang. He can't get that one. Now the Heat take it the other way.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
There's a screen. Whiteside kicks to Waiters. Shot clock at 5. Looking to end his cold spell. He lays it in. Waiters got 10.
And because he likes to handle the ball, Waiters is dynamite in the pick and roll.
Butler against Waiters. And they double up Butler. Here's Wiggins, and Wiggins throws it down.
Yeah, I mean, maybe could have tried for a more memorable dunk than that one.
And we know he's capable of those memorable ones. And the Heat call time here.
And watching Jimmy Butler, he just offers so much on offense from a scoring standpoint. You know, obviously he can get to the rack and draw the defense to him. Also really improved his ability to knock it down from beyond. Just a complete offensive player.
And Greg, as you said, Butler is a threat to score from any part of the floor.
It's a bit of a dying art, though, hitting that mid-range jump shot. Butler also does a great job of getting to the line. That's increased over the course of his career. Just a well-rounded offensive player.
A whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. From the sideline, let's catch up with Hall of Famer David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, Karl Anthony Towns was voted by GMs last season as the player they most want to build a franchise around. But he is not resting on his laurels. He said, "I work hard on my game. I want to be the strongest player, the most intelligent player, and the most skilled player on the court at all times." Kevin?
Thanks, David. That work ethic will definitely help Towns get better. He's already a dynamite player. Winslow against Muhammad. Here's Patton. It's Adebayo with the rebound. Adebayo's got his 3rd rebound on the night. Johnson the screen. Winslow kicks to Magruder. Adebayo passes to Winslow. Here's Magruder, guarded by Crawford. Jumper off the screen. Miami keeps it going. A new 24-second shot clock. Now the dish to Johnson. The shot's good on the assist by Johnson. Johnson's got 3 assists now in this one.
Now Johnson can be a very effective combo guard when he sees the floor and he fires passes like that to his teammates.
Muhammad the pass to Patton. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Jamal Crawford, the guy who has won multiple Sixth Man of the Year awards, and a guy that comes off the bench and provides you with some instant offense, ready to shoot and certainly ready to shake a defender with those incredible handles.
Now, gentlemen, 2 shots. Loose shots.
First one falls for him. And for Crawford, it's a luxury to bring him off the bench.
Well, Jamal Crawford is not a high percentage shooter, but with that volume shooting, you know he has the opportunity to impact the game, coming in and scoring and getting buckets. There are a lot of people who really enjoy watching Jamal Crawford come in, putting the ball on a string and making scoring sometimes look easy.
That one falls, so he hits both of them.
Impeccable from the line since halftime.
Johnson, the pass to Adebayo. Good ball movement here by the Heat. Johnson against Jones. Here's Magruder. There's the call on James Johnson. That'll be his second foul of the game. Timberwolves leading by 12. Outside, Jones. Gibson the screen. Jones kicks to Crawford for the three. Drains the three-pointer. Crawford's got 5 points now in the quarter.
Yeah, how about the percentage they're shooting from beyond the arc here in the second half?
Here's Magruder, guarded by Crawford. Back to Magruder. And the pass to Johnson. Here's Adebayo, defended by Gibson. Shoots from the block, and it's Magruder missing.
Yeah, his shot just doesn't seem to be synced up right now. Here's hoping he finds it soon because his team is really going to need that production tonight.
The Heat trail by 15.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
Got that bucket in no time at all. Magruder's got 8 points.
He seems to have just lost his touch. Only one for his first 5 here in the quarter.
Here's Crawford, and he gets contact and the whistle on the shot. 2 shots coming up. And there's the call. Miami with the foul.
Well, when you're on defense, hands up and antennas up with Crawford, constantly looking to get himself to the free throw line.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
And that one falls for Crawford. Brent, all things being equal, do you like the idea of sending everyone to the defensive glass to avoid giving away second chance points, or do you like leaking a guy or two out in transition, hoping for the best?
I don't think the leak out is a good idea at all, Kevin. You got to have 5 guys attentive to any possession. Most coaches in the NBA will tell you that a possession is not a stop until you collect the defensive rebound.
Both free throws good from Crawford.
I love the complementary aspect of this group now. You know, you've got the young talent, but you've brought in some veteran leadership here for the Timberwolves. The duo of Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns kind of gave the confidence to them to go out and acquire a superstar in his prime like Jimmy Butler.
Johnson attacking. Good. 6 points for him.
Well, fantastic awareness, finishing with ease at the rim, and the defense was just not a factor.
Here's Crawford. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2. And Greg, the core of this Timberwolves team is Wiggins and Towns. And, you know, rarely do you get to see 2 #1 overall picks team up early in their careers.
And how about back-to-back years, no less. But I consider Jimmy Butler kind of a foundational piece as well. He's in the conversation for the best shooting guard in our league.
Now, gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
Free throw good. Crawford.
And probably the one constant of this Miami team the last few years has been their defense. They do a great job of making life difficult for opposing shooters, and it's been anchored by one of the best shot blockers in the game with Whiteside.
good on the second, so he makes them both. And the Miami defense is more than just Whiteside blocking shots, as you might say. Greg, they do a great job of limiting opponents' threes.
Yeah, they challenge the three ball as well as anybody. Both contest the shot and close out to deny the attempt from even being taken. This roster does a great job of taking away space from shooters.
There's the screen, puts up a three, and it's Magruder missing. Minnesota leading by 14. In the corner, Winslow with it. Pass to Adebayo. Here's Magruder. Johnson the screen. Winslow dishes to Johnson. Here's the teardrop, and Gibson sends it back.
Taj Gibson doing a good job of just getting the hands up, and then the instincts come into play with the block.
Stolen by Winslow. Rebounded by the Timberwolves. Gibson's got 3 rebounds now in this one.
Well, his struggles are consuming the rest of the team here tonight. He's got to find his rhythm and find it fast.
Shooting 2.
He's off on the first.
And the Timberwolves, a team that is evolving how you imagine they would with Tibbs running things here. Deliberate approach on both ends of the floor and really looking to dominate the rebounding margins.
And he sinks the second. Greg, in the areas you just talked about, rebounding and pace, the Timberwolves are very much where they want to be.
Yeah, the team just looks to make the most out of their possessions and try to beat you through efficiency. They have players that can get easy transition points when the opportunity presents itself. But in general, they aren't trying to speed the game up.
Here's Johnson, and it's going to be a 24-second shot clock violation. They turn it over. 11 seconds left in the third. Crawford right side, stolen by Winslow. And here's the fast break. Winslow's leading the way. Again, the miss by the Heat. And so it's Andrew Wiggins making highlights for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He got into double digits for the quarter with 10 points total. And we'll be right back after this. And now we take a listen into the recent huddle from Tom Thibodeau.
Defensively, make sure we're all getting rebounded. No second shot. In transition, everyone talking. No open threes in transition.
And Tom Thibodeau wanting his team to pay particular attention to certain areas of their defense.
Yeah, taking care of the defensive boards, allowing no easy baskets on the fast break. These are key elements in terms of you having success.
And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the fourth. Jones is out there with Crawford. Then it's Taj Gibson. Then there's Muhammad. And it's Patton in at the 5, roaming the paint. So that's the lineup for Minnesota. And it's Gibson finishing it off.
Well, Crawford with the ball, it's second nature there, ripping apart the defense, this time not with the handle, but with the pass.
Great way to see the alley-oop. That replay courtesy of Under Armour. Another Unleash Chaos moment. Johnson sets the screen for Winslow. To the middle. Here's Adebayo. It's tipped.
It's a +5 advantage for them in rebounding after that one.
Crawford passes to Patton. Muhammad against Winslow. Now here's Muhammad. He's guarded closely. Can't get it to fall. Johnson against Jones. Johnson the screen. Winslow kicks to Johnson. Shot clock at 6. Over Jones. On target from 13 feet. And that's now 8 points for Johnson.
He can be tough to contain. Something about lefties that are low to the ground. Got to respect his touch from deep.
Minnesota calls timeout.
And, you know, doesn't matter where you line him up. Tyler Johnson has become a playmaker. You know, had to work his way into the NBA, but he has quickly established himself. Great threat off the bench who brings instant scoring and can be a catalyst for your offense.
Whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. Now let's go to the sideline and catch up with our Hall of Famer, David Aldridge.
Hey, Kevin, well, let's summarize what Tom Thibodeau went over with his guys during the break. He told them, put your foot on their neck. Take it to them. I want to see you guys slow it down out there, use the clock, and stay away from silly fouls. Let's see if they can execute the plan, guys.
Thank you, David. And Greg with Johnson, it's that burst he plays with on the floor that makes him such an energizer.
Yeah, and for a player who isn't the biggest guard, you know, he attacks with reckless abandon. Great speed of play in the half court as well as transition. And he's really slippery and can step in if you overcommit.
Elbow. 2. Now, gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
That free throw, good from Jang. And Greg, you hear about the competitive culture that this Miami Heat franchise has.
Yeah, and that doesn't always work for some teams, but it works for the Heat. This group will push each other all the time to be the best they can be. The practices have a feel of game-level intensity.
And Jang drops them both. And we're around 2 minutes into the fourth quarter here. The Heat trail by 19. They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Too many empty possessions. Right now, they need a basket.
And count it, the shot is good. He'll go to the free throw line.
Just a heads-up play by Dragic there, getting the foul, getting the shot up, and getting contact.
Watching the way Dragic can slice through a defense, it's easy to see why he is one of the better playmakers in the league.
Well, Kevin, over the past 2 seasons, almost averaging 6 assists a ball game. And you think about who it is that he's been surrounded by, there's not a ton of shooting out there. So if the roster picks up a couple of other dead-eye shooters, those assist numbers are going to go up for Dragic.
Free throw drops for Goran Dragic. Timberwolves leading by 16. Passes it to Towns. Well, Towns does so many things on the floor, already an elite post scorer. But Greg, one area that he has struggled with at times is his defense against other bigs.
And I think he'll continue to improve in that area. What happens with young guys, though, is oftentimes you're in prove how good I am mode when you're young, and you lose sight of some of the things that help you win games. And I think that's one reason why he had one of the worst defensive RPMs in the entire league. But young bigs tend to take a bit longer to develop into great defenders, and I expect he will follow in that line.
And the first one drops.
And for a player with his size, Towns has always been very comfortable at the free throw line. And that's a good thing because he finds himself there quite a bit.
And so he hits both.
And looking at Towns and what he can do on the floor already at his age is impressive. This is a guy who's going to be a 20-10 player perhaps for the rest of his career. And as young as he is, I tell you, the sky is the limit.
Richardson, and it's Richardson slamming it down.
Even when Richardson's getting knocked around a little bit, he can still finish, especially when he's going straight to the rim.
Minnesota leading by 16. Teague dishes to Butler. Dragic against Teague. And finished off by Jang.
Yeah, just solid work on the back end of that play.
Yep, you're right. Finished hard with two hands on that stuff. The Heat have gone 3 of 6 from the field so far in the fourth quarter. And when you look at the second year for Towns, it's comparable to other great big men in the history of the NBA. And Greg, I'm talking about players in the top 50 of all time.
Yeah, I mean, just on the sophomore season stats, he looks like he projects to be one of the all-time greats. Comparable numbers to some of the best who have ever played. And think of these names: Hakeem, Duncan, Ewing, and the Admiral. Maybe we'll be saying Karl Anthony Towns as well.
And that's a shot you got to step up on. Wide open, no coverage. Good shooters don't miss that often.
Dragic the pass to Whiteside. Back to Dragic. And that one comes up a bit short.
And really not enough effort on that screen. You have to make some contact, so that's ineffective at getting his teammate open.
Rumors about Butler being traded from Chicago were circulating last season. Draft day comes around, and the Minnesota Timberwolves made their move, Greg, to acquire him.
Yeah, and the more you look at it, the trade looks great for Butler and the Wolves. Reunites him with Coach Thibodeau, joins an incredibly young core in Towns and Wiggins, and the sky's the limit, I think, for this young Wolves team.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
That free throw, no good.
And Butler does so many things well. I mean, shoots a high percentage from everywhere, and a gritty defender. He does it all.
Good on the second free throw.
Have to appreciate the way that the Miami Heat team plays defensively. They're aggressive on their closeouts and challenges, trying to take away the three-point shot. And the rim protection is right there with Whiteside, so they can funnel everybody right to the big man.
Dragic kicks to Waiters. Clock at 6. For 3. Bangs home the trifecta.
You know, you hear that A word all the time, aggressive, and sometimes just being that can turn your game around. He's been that in the second half, their go-to guy here.
There's a screen. Towns dishes to Wiggins. Back to Towns, and stolen by Whiteside. And here's the fast break. Richardson leading the way over Wiggins. Great D that time from Teague. For the Heat, Brent, you can see the effort that they exude each time they step on the floor and set up on defense.
Well, sometimes having that drive won't mean much on the offensive end, but it shows up in the effort of your ball club on the defensive end. This is a very talented and long group of defenders that can get after you on the perimeter. And if the idea is we're going to use the perimeter guys to funnel everybody towards a guy like Hassan Whiteside, that can be problematic for an offense to score with that kind of activity.
Now a timeout called by Miami.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity to kind of regroup and discuss ways to maximize these possessions.
And therein lies the trick, discussing ways to be aggressive, but not committing turnovers.
Dragic the pass to Waiters. Whiteside a screen, and Waiters kicks to Dragic. Whiteside a screen on Teague. Dragic dishes to Olynyk. Just 4 to shoot. The 17-footer. They grab their own miss to the paint. Here's Waiters. And stolen by Jang. Towns the pass to Butler. It's deflected, and they get it back. Nice ball movement by Minnesota. Wiggins kicks to Towns. The shot, no good. Good work defensively by Whiteside. Raiders on the wing. Back to Richardson. Dragic with a screen for Richardson. Shot clock at 5. Over Wiggins. Richardson missing again. Timberwolves leading by 14. Wiggins dishes to Butler. Good work there as it goes.
Yeah, and Butler just can't be stopped. I mean, even when the D knocks him around, he keeps his focus on the basket.
One shot, gentlemen.
Yeah, and their free throw shooting has really improved here in the second half.
The Heat trail by 17. Whiteside, a screen on Butler. Here's Waiters. Made that one. It's his 7th of the contest. 7 for 15 from the floor.
When he gets inside, Waiters sometimes finds it hard to finish in traffic, but he makes the necessary adjustment there.
Here's Wiggins. Rebound by the Heat. Olynyk got his 3rd rebound tonight. Here's Dragic from outside. It's rebounded by Towns. Towns has got rebound number 12 here already in the game. Teague, the pass to Towns. Back to Teague. Oh, and there's the alley-oop. Tries to save it and out of bounds as the Heat gain possession. The Heat trail by 15. And here's Dragic. He kicks it to Richardson. The feed to Dragic. The 3. Offensive rebound, Heat.
Yeah, maybe a little luck, maybe a little bit of heart. Both of those at play here. He's getting every offensive rebound.
Richardson kicks to Whiteside. Dragic left side. Waiters outside. Off target from outside.
They have been board dominant in this game. That's definitely been a factor in crafting this huge lead.
And a lot of contact on that one, so he'll shoot 2 here. They get Hassan Whiteside.
And really one of the quickest guards in our league. Jeff Teague just puts tremendous pressure on your defense when he's attacking the paint.
Johnson, he's checked in for Whiteside.
Shooting 2.
And he makes the first. And the book on T, Greg, is to make him an outside shooter. You don't want him getting to the rim.
I mean, he's a good finisher around the rim. His outside shooting, although streaky at times, not bad, but not great either.
He's perfect from the line this time. Brent, we know the regular season is a grind. We also know that revenue is king. Could you imagine a time when we'd actually have to play more than 82 games?
That's interesting, Kevin, because a lot of the times the argument you've heard over the course of the past 5 or 6 seasons, Kevin, is the opposite of that 65-game schedule. Why not reduce the schedule? Stars playing in every game, less back-to-backs, more time for recovery. So the idea of 82 games being extended beyond that, I don't think that that's in the realm of possibility.
65, 68 games, and they had that shortened season a couple years ago. It was terrific to watch.
It was, and so we'll see if the league does that. But in your question alone, Kevin, you said it. Cash is king. 82 is the number we're going to settle in, I think, for quite some time.
At the top of the key, Towns. Another miss by Towns.
No other way to put it. Just a poor shooting performance for him, but luckily his teammates have picked up the slack.
So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
Yeah, and Olynyk up and down at the free throw line early in his career, but with his touch, he's bound to become more consistent.
And he knocks down the first one. And so Olynyk nails both of them. Timberwolves leading by 12. Teague dishes to Towns. Kicks it to Wiggins. Back to Towns. Rebound by the Heat.
The defense was in the area, but not really effective. He has to put away this layup.
And the basket by Olynyk.
And really, the improvement as a finisher is noticeable for Kelly Olynyk.
Towns, the screen. Butler from outside. That's good, and so Teague with the assist. Teague's got 10 assists here tonight. So active. The Heat trail by 13. Timeout called, the Heat. And Jeff Teague coming over to the Timberwolves in free agency. Greg, the team felt he was the perfect fit.
You know, and it seemed for a while the Wolves had wanted to kind of mix things up at that point guard position. And you knew they had someone in mind when they dealt both Rubio and Dunn in the offseason. Teague was their man all along. And they're committing an awful lot of fouls here, and not of the good variety. You don't want to give up easy layups, sure, but it's been a nonstop parade to the foul line.
And now we've got a moment for our Jordan player of the game, Andrew Wiggins.
And guys, he's been about as close to perfection as you can be. The intensity he's played with has been amazing. Just no let up. And as fired up as he's been, he's never let his emotions get out of control.
They increased his role tonight after dropping their last game, and the move paid off. He's been the best player on the court by far, and now they don't have to worry about a losing streak. Minnesota on D. It's a 13-point game. Now here's Waiters. Here's Richardson. It's rebounded by Towns.
And you just get the sense the whole period he's been a bit out of sync.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't figure out what's wrong, but he keeps trying to push through.
Waiters with the ball. Butler covering. And there's the foul. It goes on Jimmy Butler. That's foul number 2 for him. And it's the Heat with the ball, trailing by 13. Screen by Olynyk. And Waiters kicks to Dragic. Here's Olynyk, and that's good. And it's Dragic with the assist. Dragic has got 4 assists now tonight. Minnesota shooting at 51%. Really solid. And it's Towns penetrating. Over Johnson. Towns, no luck.
Yeah, another missed opportunity, and you can just see the frustration.
Yeah, when your shot's in the fridge like this, it's easy to lose your confidence, and that's why some of the most prolific scorers, they have short-term memories.
Towns, a screen on Dragic. Teague, the pass to Butler. And Zhang kicks to Towns. And fouled on the shot, so the bucket counts, and a chance for one more here.
And he can smell blood in the water. Excellent finish.
Yeah, when your opponent's down and frustrated, this is when you can turn it up.
Rodney McGruder's checked in for Miami. Hey, Brent, analytics more and more playing a part in the NBA, almost to the point where people now feel guilty taking mid-range jump shots because they know the higher percentage that exists. How far is too far in using these numbers?
Well, I think people mention it too much, Kevin, but they don't understand it enough. There's no doubt that analytics plays a huge part in what our game is today. Every team throughout the 30 in the league have several guys employed to look deep into these numbers. But the fact of the matter is, still the best shot in basketball is the dunk or the layup. Teams are still trying to get into the paint and get it done. And the three-point evolution is not going anywhere. So it's about understanding it. Right now we're at a good point. About 33% of shots taken right now are three-point shots. I think we're going to see it get close to 40. That's about the tipping point.
40%. For three, Richardson drains it from beyond the arc.
Richardson shooting it now from deep. Good touch on the long ranger.
2-second difference between shot clock and game clock. T kicks to Towns. It's hauled in by Richardson. And here's Miami. Trying his luck deep. Richardson missing again. Outside Teague. And so it's the Timberwolves taking care of business here. A confident win and one where they clearly showed the greater effort.
Yeah, I mean, it was a solid performance, particularly here at home. And I think they built off that edge of being here and play with just a little more confidence than their opponent.
And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thank you, Kevin. Jimmy, how confident are you that you guys can build on this win and keep the momentum going?
Very confident. Like I said, we got a great group of guys. We play together, play hard. We can win.
I know you'll like to keep that going as we go on in the season. Thank you for your time. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. And that about wraps it up. For Brent Barry, Greg Anthony, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening.